Program 9 Baseball, Calvin Metlock. We're back and we're going to talk about development of pitches. Okay. How do we understand what every pitch needs to do? Okay. I think for the most part, what young pitchers need to understand is um, the four seam fastball and the two seam fastball are meant to be thrown on different planes. Okay, your four seam fastball is more a direct to target. It's a little bit straighter, it's a little bit flatter. Okay, the two seam is more of a movement pitch. Okay, so uh, it can start on one line and it's gonna go from here to here. It could go this way, or it can be like a sinker where we're going down. Okay, which is going to be the horizontal and the vertical break. Um, and doing that, understanding the break that you most of the time want is going to be between 12 inches to 18 inches on your vertical break, and anywhere between 8 and 12 on your horizontal break. Okay, those things is what's going to take the ball moving when we're going towards your target to where it's here and then there. Okay. Your forward seam, you're getting that good tight spin behind the ball here. Okay. And it's going to be more of a true fastball straight. When you're throwing your two seam, okay, you're going to get more out front here, kind of pronate a little bit. And that spin is going to kind of go that way. And that ball is going to move down. Okay. So understanding how to develop your two seam. Again, you want to make sure that that pitch is shooting right down the middle because it's going to move. I've seen guys try to throw it on the corner and it doesn't stick well to the strike zone because you're starting it off the plate and it's just going to run even more. Okay. So one of the things that you want to make sure that you have when you're throwing the two seam, okay, you want to make sure that one that you have your thumb either here on the side or a little bit right under, and you want to make sure that you can pronate that way, okay, out front. All right, that's what you want to make sure is pretty easy for you to do is being able to pronate out front. All right. Um, learning different um, points on the ball, your fingertips, pressure points. All right, you want to make sure you got a lot of pressure here so you can dominate the inside of the fastball. Okay, so now when you're here and you're dominating the fastball here, you can pronate that away. Okay, so that's a big thing in throwing the two seam, pressure points, fingertips, middle finger, a little bit more dominant with the ball to make sure you can get that pronation that away and it attacks the zone. Okay, the next pitch, okay, is a cut fastball. Okay, so your cut fastball is made to come off your four seam fastball. Okay, so you got a pitch going straight, and then we got a pitch that's sinking to the down, down in on righties. If you're a right-handed batter, if you're a left-handed batter, it's going the other way. Okay, and then you have your cutter. So two ways you can throw a cutter, which is what I was taught, is here. Okay, and basically what you're trying to get is you're trying to get on that outside horseshoe. Okay, and when you get to release point, it's just a slight tilt that way. All right, and then once you get a slight tilt, That's still going to give it enough of the four seam fastball ride with just a little bit of cut on it. Okay. When you throw in that cut fastball, you want something in a negative as far as the cut from a horizontal standpoint and a vertical standpoint. You want to make sure that the tilt and the separation that you have off your fastball is somewhere between I'm gonna say between that 5 and 8 range. Okay, you want to miss the barrel just a little bit. Okay, you a cut fastball is meant to be thrown hard. It's meant to be a sharp cut, not a loopy break. Okay, that right there is going to be more like a slider slurve type. Uh, let's just say your fastball is 75 and you're 13. Okay, you want to throw your cut fastball about 73, 72, 73. Um, and that's kind of like the difference, in range. You don't want the speed to be too far off. Otherwise, it's not going to give the reaction that you want from the batters. Okay. One of the main things that um, when you throw in your fastballs and you throw in a cutter and you throw in a two seam, it's very important that as a youth pitcher that you understand what these pitches are supposed to do, and also knowing the grips that you have to make sure that you can manipulate the ball to do what you want it to do. Okay. The grip is fine, the grip is okay, but you have to tell the ball which way you want it to go. And a lot of that plays off of how you hold your pressure points on the ball. Okay, whether it's a four seam, whether it's a changeup, whether it's a cutter, whether it's a slider. For me, the cut fastball and the slider, it can kind of be thrown off the same, pitch. Okay. Some guys go across, some guys go straight down, some guys get around the horseshoe a little bit. Uh, for me, I just kept it the same as my curveball, the same as my slider, the same as my cutter. The grips was all the same. It was how I released the ball that made the ball do something different. And so, from that standpoint, I think understanding how to develop a cut fastball, a two seam fastball, and master the four seam fastball with location and getting a backspin on it and getting everything through, that's something that you can do just playing catch. Okay. Once you get loose, if you want to develop these pitches, once you get loose from throwing, um, once you get to a certain distance, if you're throwing a two seam, start throwing two seamers. Okay. Play catch with these pitches because that's going to help develop it. Okay. If you throw a cutter, throw cutters and warm up. Okay. Uh, that's going to help you get a better feel for the ball because those two pitches are field pitches. Okay. The next pitch is one of the pitches that I love to teach when I'm doing lessons and training. That's the changeup. Okay. For me, I teach two different changeups. A lot of it has to do with the size of the player hand. And so for me, um, I call it the three finger changeup. Okay. It's more, you know, it's pretty much direct. It's the three fingers. So you take these three and just throw it like a fastball. Okay. Most of the time for those guys, you do not want to have these two fingers on it too much because these two here, they are your dominant fingers. Okay, so these two will add to it, and you're trying to subtract when you're throwing a changeup. Okay. The next thing that you can do throwing changeups, you need to kill your legs. No leg drive helps. It helps you get out front. It helps you reach. Uh, by slowing down your lower half, you do not have to slow down your arm speed. You can keep that same arm speed and everything with no problem. Okay. Um, the the biggest thing that I see from youth guys is when they're throwing a change up, you can see it coming from a mile away. Uh, that's one of the things that you want to make sure that when you're doing your change up, I want you to swing and I want you to think fastball. So when I'm throwing my change up, my whole mindset is fastball, fastball, fastball. When I release, change up. Okay. Don't slow down. Don't give in. You throw your change up, we're throwing it right down the middle. We're looking for a swing. The next grip is, this is the traditional change up where you're getting out front. I think for the most part, a lot of pitchers, when they are trying to understand how to throw a change up, I think the biggest thing for pitchers throwing circle change is understanding. For me, there's one key thing in throwing a circle change. It's the thumb. Okay. Your thumb can dictate a lot of things on your changeup. Okay. So when you're here throwing, having that changeup, having your thumb when you're throwing your changeup at the bottom, is going to help you control the ball and allow for you to manipulate where the ball is going. And so now when you get out front and you turn or you go straight up and down, it's easier for you to throw. It's easier for you to play catch with it because now here you're not dominating the ball. You're going to push. So everyone sees the grip here. Okay. For youth kids, yeah, that's what you see, right? But you also see guys now that have stronger hands and they can dominate the baseball. For the youth players, they don't have the hand strength yet to really dominate the ball and control the ball. So you're going to have to really get that thumb under to help guide that ball and help slow down that speed to get out in front. Okay, that's at the end of the day, that is the ultimate goal, is to make sure that you can get here. Okay, so this thumb is very important. Okay. There are a few things that you can do as well to kill the speed, lower half, back leg drag, stuff like that, and then keeping your front shoulder closed. You want to keep your chin directly on target. You want to make sure that when you reach, it's out front, release point out over your nose. Okay. Developing the changeup. That's what we just got done talking about. The next step we're going to talk about from Program 9 Baseball Podcast, we are going to dig into the breaking balls. Breaking balls are a big part of keeping hitters off balance. Uh, when we're throwing a breaking ball, which is a curveball or a slider, um, we are not trying to just flip it up there. Okay. Every breaking ball that you throw, it has to be control, aggressive, with every intent. If he doesn't swing, it's going to be a strike. Okay. Um, Being able to locate your breaking ball, that is a huge plus. Okay. That is something that, it's a big thing. Okay. Um, I think when we're talking about throwing a breaking ball, I think understanding out front, okay, fingertips to your catcher, um, pulling through the seam when you're going, pulling through the seam here, and getting that middle finger to drive through the ball. That way, we are creating that hard spin from top to bottom. That is one of those things that, for me, uh, I tell pitchers all the time: don't twist, spin the ball. Let's focus on spinning the ball. And once you get your spin rate up, now you're dominating the ball to where you have that ball going like a true 12-6. Okay. And then whenever we are throwing our slider, it's the same thing to where you want your fingertips going this way. So now when you are throwing the ball, it's something that's very easy for you to, get out front. So when you're throwing your breaking ball, you're looking for a righty curveball. You're looking for a 12-6 spin. Okay. When you're going to the slider, okay, you want to make sure that tilt, when you're throwing it, you want to make sure that tilt is going somewhere between, that 10 and 4 range. Okay. Uh, that is something that I think sometimes it's not talked about as much, but the tilt on the slider has to be sharper and it has to be shorter than your breaking ball, but it has to be longer than a cutter. Okay. So that's that mix in the middle as, your curveball, you more here, slider, you more there, cutter, you more there. Okay. And it's a it's a big difference, but it's a small difference at the same time. Is from a hitter standpoint, they need to see the bigger difference. Okay. They need to see, man, I thought that was a cutter. Man, that thing just kept breaking. From our standpoint, from where we're seeing is it's very small to us because we have to make sure I just want that much. I don't want this. So if I'm throwing a slider and the speed is slider speed, but it's cutter action, it's going to get hit. If I'm throwing a slider off my fastball, let's say my fastball is 75, I want my slider about 68 with tilt. But I can't throw that slider at 68 with cutter break. I just threw pretty much a fastball that just had a little bit of, you know, small movement to it. Okay, so that's kind of the deal with that is the cutter, the slider, the breaking ball. From us, they're very small as far as what we're trying to do. But from the hitter, we need to make sure that they see it different in speeds and variations, location, and also what the break is going to be on that. Okay. So developing the pitches, that's where we have to make sure from a pitching standpoint that there is a clear understanding as to what we're trying to do from pitch to pitch. That's development of pitches. We are going to talk about this some more in some other podcasts when I bring on a few guys to go into a little bit more detail. We will get on the field and we'll show some dry runs as to what we're looking for when we're throwing changeups, when we're throwing our 4-seam fastball, how to work on throwing the 2-seam, what a cutter should look like versus a slider, and then what our changeup should look like when we're throwing a 3-finger changeup and a circle changeup. Okay. Talking more baseball, pitching on Program 9, baseball with Calvin Metlock. Stay tuned.